Hello and welcome back to another Godzilla Battle Line video. Today we're going to be doing our Season 11 tier list. We're about a week in. Not too many crazy changes have happened in Season 11 meta, but definitely some shifts in the tier list. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. First up is Jet Jaguar, brand new Jet Jaguar going right into C tier. Jet Jaguar does have the boost to level 10 right now, at least for me. So it's a lot easier to see how useful he's going to be, and it's not going to be very useful. If you've seen this character, you know it's only going to be good against G89, Anguirus, and that is pretty much it for the most part. He's going to do well into, a couple other things like the Gigans, but nothing crazy. And if he's not really against a G89, he's pretty much useless. I really wish this Jet Jaguar was a free deploy. If he was able to deploy like Kiryu and Karate Chop action, some things into your team, that would be so much better. But unfortunately he doesn't, even though he has the cool animation for no reason. If he wanted to fix Jet Jaguar, he needs a massive health and attack increase. His stats are way too low for how slow of a ground unit he is. Definitely need to get those stats up. The pre-evolution, the buff's good, but he's pretty much a guaranteed evolve, so I don't know. I feel like the buff's pretty much useless for the most part, unless you deploy him right on defense, but yeah, it's nothing special. Nothing to really warrant anything crazy. But for a new unit, Jet Jaguar is highly disappointing and desperately needs those buffs. Next is Godzilla Earth, who is gonna go into B tier, not because Godzilla Earth is an average unit, more just because he's newer. He needs the levels, but at level 5 he's pretty solid. So if you're, any rank pretty much up till King of the Monsters, if you can manage to get Earth at level 5, he could definitely carry your team. His damage and stats at level 5 are just insane compared to other things. Absolutely insane. The only problem with Earth is you're gonna lack consistency with him because he can miss shots. He does take a long time to fire, and your games are probably gonna go pretty long. So all those things are kind of going against him, but he's very solid. If you pull Girth, you should be happy. And if you want him to be your main damage carry, that's totally fine. Just because he's in B tier does not mean he's bad. It's just a reflection on what level he currently is for most people. Since he's, pretty much a month in, he's brand new. So he's not going to be able to compete with level 15 to 20 Battras in ranked. So he can't really be that high, right? But at the same time, you got to respect what he does. So he's a very solid piece. Just gonna go into B tier right now. Next is the Kids ship. We're gonna demote Kids to D tier. The 6 cost is way too much. Way too much. I just don't see the warrant for 6 cost. Not only that, this thing's been useless since it came into the game. And honestly, it's kind of starting to piss me off, okay? It's just starting to piss me off. You know why? Because now that we have to share the 3-star pieces with Kids ship, so every time you get a pull for 3 stars, it's Kids, which is useless now. It's useless. It's just taking away pieces from those others that you can get closer to maxing it, and whatever. Alright, can we buff this Kids ship to at least 4 cost, please? Just, why 6? Why 6? How many months are you guys gonna wait till you just say, you know what, let's not make this unit unusable because of its cost? Moving on. Gigan Millennium is going to go into C, and it is not because he's bad. So when you look at my tier list, you have to understand I'm going from a high rank perspective. So even though Gigan and Jet Jaguar are right next to each other, Gigan is a good character and Jet Jaguar is a bad one. But Jet Jaguar is level 10 right now, and Gigan is, my Gigan's level 4. I don't know anyone who has a level 10 Gigan yet, and without it being level 10, it's just really not going to compete in the high tier rank. But with that said, Gigan is very solid, and at a 4 cost, those 4 cost 4 stars are going to take a little longer to grow into feasible units, whereas Earth is like a 9 cost, so his stats are going to be inflated and he's going to be a lot easier to use quicker. But Gigan is also a solid piece. You should be way happier if you pull Gigan Millenniums compared to Jet Jaguars. Just because they're in the C tier, it's just telling you how they're going to be doing in ranked battles at the top, not them as an overall unit. Moving on. Godzilla 54, same boat as Gigan pretty much. They're just newer and don't have, it takes them a while to get the stats they need to function properly from what I can tell. G54 also needs those other Godzillas to be, at least level 5, which then is still not great. So ideally you'd need all the Godzilla transformations level 10 to make G54 really good. But G54 also isn't bad. I don't imagine G54 and Gigan Millennium will be C tier in a couple months. They're going to be moving up. They just don't have the pieces yet. Kong is gonna go into C tier for totally opposite reasons. Kong's just trash. He has the pieces, it's just not good. Not only that, whoever has the pieces, they've been getting outscaled because he's been out of the game. So he's just getting weaker and weaker as time goes on top of being a very just trash 4-star. He just sucks. Poor Kong. Even though he wins fights, it doesn't matter. Like, it looks like he is good because he wins a lot of 1v1s, but just not how it goes down in normal play. Next is Jet Jaguar Singular Point, who I will put above Earth, not because he's better than Earth, but because he just got buffed, and you can see a lot higher level Jet Jaguar Singular Points than you can see Godzilla Earths. With that said, Jet Jaguar Singular Point is actually in a lot better spot. He's going to do well into so many things. The only problem is if they run Super X, your Jet Jaguar Singular Point is no longer a good character. That is just, if you run Jet Jaguar Singular Point, if you run this Jet Jaguar, you have to know if Super X is on the other team, it's going to make him useless. So maybe you want to pocket something like Dimension Tide. You want ways to take out that Super X if you're going to be running Jet Jaguar. Gigan Showa is going to go into D tier. Back into D tier for you. I gave him a chance again. Thought people might use him. Unless I'm using him and leveling up to 30, no one's going to try him. So that's just the reality we live in. Gigan's bad. Needs massive stat growths still. Gigan, so this Showa Gigan is such a bad designed character that its stats need to be massively inflated for it to work. And that's not really an issue. They can do that. They just need to pull the trigger. He's so bad. He is so bad. Why can't you just buff him more? Why are you doing these little tweaks like he's gonna break the game? Like Showa Gigan's gonna run around freaking karate chop or hack and slash and leaders one hit? No, it's not what's gonna happen. Just buff him, man. Just buff him. See what happens. Moving on. Super X back into S tier. Super X is a lot more counterable than I'd given it credit for, so it's probably going to get demoted again into the 3rd spot of S tier. Pretty much Super X gets countered by Dimension Tide. That is the reality it faces. If you pull it in with a Dimension Tide into anything on your team, it's pretty much going to kill it. And that's really the only feasible counter. People think Kiryu, Mog still counters. They're not. Psychic Chorus heals the Super X through that. People also think it's a waste of a Psychic Chorus. It's totally not, because you need to look at it as a trade-off. So when they deploy Kiryu, that's 6 energy. When you deploy Psychic Chorus, it's 3. So there you go. You get a net 3 gain when you win that trade. It's pretty much, it's simple math, you guys. You just got to look at it like that. You're just fighting with energy. The units translate into energy. That's all you gotta look at it as. But Super X, pretty great. Don't know why people sleep on it. I think people just try to shift away from what's strong, but if you really hate Super X, run Dimension Tide. It will save your life. Next is Godzilla 89, and he's gonna go at the top of B tier. So Godzilla 89 is pretty counterable, and I'm not seeing too many Mothras like I have in the past seasons, and I think that's because Psychic Chorus is just such a good heal on its own that for your leader ability you want to stack like damage or speed boost or something to complement that. Double heals isn't really that worth it. It's okay. I mean it's pretty strong, but at the end of the day, it's really are they countering your Godzilla or not. Not only that, the new Jet Jaguar being added probably makes it so that you're going to see a couple of the new Jet Jaguars in action, and they're going to hard shut down G89, like hard shut down. So for that reason, G89 is going to go into B tier this season. Train Bomb is going to go into B. Pretty much use Train Bomb, take out Energy Base. If you hate Energy Base, run it. I might put it in A. Nah. We'll put it up here in B, right in front of the Jet Jaguar. Spacegodzilla, A tier again. Alright, so Spacegodzilla is the thing that's questions all my credibility, right? Right? Because everyone wants to put him in B. You know, I know that. I know when I put him in A that you guys are sitting there thinking, this guy's a B tier, man. But this is for higher ranked players. In Spacegodzilla eventually just becomes good. Once you get him past level 10, he becomes really good. In comparison to Ultima, as you get Ultima up to level 10, he's gonna kick ass all throughout the whole time he's being leveled. Whereas Spacegodzilla will not. Spacegodzilla is pretty weak as far as level 5 to level 10, which you don't see that common in 4 stars. But once you get him past 10, he just becomes really good. I mean, I just use him and he kicks ass. Counters so many things. Those crystals are really nice. And you don't have to evolve him. You know, he's just there doing things, and it's really hard to get through a Spacegodzilla unless it's by itself. Then you just deploy Bio, but Bio's really not tanky enough to survive a whole push with Spacegodzilla in there. Usually because Bio is the one getting targeted first. But Spacegodzilla's great. If you don't believe me, go watch my ranked battle videos. I have a couple using Spacegodzilla. Dude kicks ass. Next is Rodan 64. I'll probably put it right there. Rodan 64 is so bad. It needs to be 3 costs. Its stats are just way too low. Way too low. It can't really compete. And when I put Rodan 64 in C tier, it's a level 30. Like, that's what I'm thinking of it as. Like, a level 30 in ranked at the highest tier of play. It's C tier. It's not good. Next is Mothra, who we will put in B tier. Mothra's going to go into B tier this season. The main reason Mothra dropped is because Mothra Leo just got buffed. And I feel like Mothra Leo is probably a better option to be running because both Mothra and Mothra Leo you want to combo with Battra. And Mothra Leo you don't have to evolve when you already have to evolve Battra, so that just makes it so much easier. And Mothra Leo just got the buff and is pretty tanky, so it's almost just a better option at the moment than running Mothra. But Mothra in itself does a lot of damage. It's just held back by kind of the evolution. And yeah, I mean, Mothra's always like just solid. It just doesn't do anything crazy. It's not gonna help you a ton, but it is gonna just pack heaps of damage. That's what she does. Next is her son, Mothra Leo, who is gonna be going into A tier. Yay! It's a big jump. It's a big jump. We went from C to A. Don't know if we've seen a jump like that in a while, except for maybe like Psychic Chorus, but Mothra Leo is A tier now because she has been in, or he, I always do that with you, Leo. Always calling you girl, man. I know you boy, bro. But Mothra Leo has enough pieces to fight at pretty much anything you could buy in the store as a 4-star is going to be able to have enough pieces to compete in ranked. Anything that doesn't just can't do it. It's pretty much the basis of that. But Mothra Leo is on that side of being usable and having a lot of pieces. She's very tanky. The damage helps her a lot. It helps him a lot. And he's just a better choice than Mothra. I don't think he's crazy. I don't think he should be put into every team. And he is still very counterable in the same exact ways. Like Spacegodzilla counters him super hard. Kamacuras counter him super hard. Anguirus counters him a little less now because Mothra Leo does do more damage. But anything that eats that charge really makes Mothra Leo pretty useless. But A tier for Leo, not bad. Go ahead and try him out. Combo him with Battra. Does pretty nice damage. Next is Moguera, who I'm going to put in the bottom of A. So after using Mog with my Kiryu leader team, my Mog was level 20. I was really impressed with Moguera. I think you guys just suck with him. That's right, I said you suck. I think when it comes to free deploy units, you guys got to get more ballsy, man. You guys got to figure out the best way to... When you have like Dimension Tide, you have Kiryu, you have Moguera, the devs are saying, here, man, you control it. So any unit that you can have more control of is just going to be better simply for that reason. So Moguera leveled to 30. It's probably very solid. It's going to take out a bunch of energy bases. You could use it to take out Super X maybe. And honestly, when your team's fighting in the midfield, send out Moguera. Put him right behind and have him peck at something. He does pretty nice DPS. I think people need to start using... I think people are a little too linear with Moguera. And if you experimented a little more on how to use him, he's pretty solid. Next is going to be Missile Strike. We're going to put that right in C tier. It's a trash train bomb. It really has no use. It could even be D tier. The only reason it's not D tier is it still can fly out and destroy things like bases and hit the leader on last health. So that is useful in itself, but not too useful. Next is Minilla. Manilla's going to go right into B tier again. People always think Manilla's better than what he is because of the past, because Minilla was so good in the past at 2 cost, and people don't really realize what makes a unit stop being so good. And it wasn't really the nerfs that hurt Minilla, because he was still good the season after he got nerfed. What really hurt him was the shift in how much damage everything is doing. Battra, all these crazy 4-stars, and they're getting more and more and more levels as the game goes on. So Manilla's just getting popped so much quicker. Those things are a lot tankier, and Minilla just doesn't have the survivability to throw out those stuns reliably. Like it's just better to be running something else that's more expensive to help you in those fights. Like I've never seen a fight where Minilla just wins the trade for them. And Minilla is very counterable. Super X is a great way to stall on him. He's just, and he's not bad. Like, I'm not trying to talk down Minilla saying he's a bad unit. He's still in B tier. But there is better options. I just think people should switch to better options instead of sticking with Minilla. But if you want to stay with Minilla, it's not bad. It's not a huge risk to be running him. He's 2 cost. It's just you could probably pack a little more punch into your team by swapping him with something 1 or 2 costs higher. Megaguirus is top of A every time. Megaguirus is borderline S, you guys. Borderline S this unit. She's so tanky, she hits so hard, huge AoE slow, pretty quick flyer. DPS is great. There's nothing really wrong with Megaguirus. She's like a 5-tool player. She just does it all. She really does it all. I think Megaguirus is the safest. Megaguirus and G89 are the safest things you could level any player. If you want to level some to 30, Megaguirus is so solid. It's so worth it. And Super X maybe. But Super X might be getting nerfed. Megaguirus, I just don't see her getting nerfed because I don't think she's broken. She's just super solid. And I feel like she'll be super solid for several months. This is definitely a unit you should be investing in. Megaguirus is so underrated still. Next is Mechagodzilla. We'll put right above Rodan. Mechagodzilla needs buffs. Way too weak. That's a level 30 Mechagodzilla in C tier. It is not good, you guys. Stop investing in it. If you're using Mechagodzilla as a leader, please stop. Please stop it. Get some help. Use G89. I don't care if your Mechagodzilla is one level higher and you have more health. It's useless, man. The ability's useless. There's no AoE on his attacks. It's not good. Mechagodzilla should not be seeing play ever in King of the Monsters. Ever. Mbaws, which we will put in probably right there. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Probably not better than Mechagodzilla. I haven't used them. I don't see people use them. Not going to make that risk. But they are 3 cost, have more HP. They're easier to use. The lower the cost things are, the less good they really have to be viable. It's pretty much how it works. So they're C tier. They're not bad. They're not as bad as they were. Mbaw Base, I think, is something worth running. If you're looking for, I don't know, just something missing piece, I think Mbaw Base might be it. It is counterable by getting, if you stall it on the other team, so let's say you drop Mbaw Base and they roll out and they have a Godzilla Ultima just pecking them down one by one, that's pretty bad because it's stalling their push and Ultima's not losing any health. But if you get used to it, know how to use it, it can be a pretty good tool to have. I don't think Mbaw Base is bad, and it's a lot tankier. So if you have yours at level 20, maybe higher, I would try to run it, see what you could do. Next is Markolite Cannon. Just gonna go bottom of C. Gets outranged by Super X, gets destroyed by anything that outranges it. And it gets like 1 or 2 shots before dying at 5 costs. It's really just not worth it. Next is Ghidorah, who I was wrong about. Ghidorah is not a bad character. I think I was just trying to overcompensate in that video I used Ghidorah because my team wasn't super hot. But Ghidorah is still great. You just have to combo him with the other meta units. Ghidorah is not going to carry with all B tiers or all below A tiers. That's just not who he is anymore. Ghidorah needs the S tiers to carry. He needs the nice supporting pieces, but he still functions very well. Still a great unit. The AoE's massive, and you have to be running G89 with Ghidorah, because G89 boost on Ghidorah makes him the best unit in the game probably. It's a fat AoE spread, tons of damage. Really can't go wrong. When you pop that and Ghidorah is attacking the enemy leader, it's gonna splash and just hit everything. It's true menace. So Ghidorah, I'm sorry, you're still pretty good. You're an A tier. King Caesar back in A tier. King Caesar is just solid, man. Dude just charges into stuff, does a ton of damage. He's one of the only effective ground units that can function in today's meta. King Caesar's always been in the meta. So yeah, that's our boy, man. King Caesar charging in, level him up. It's good. Kamacuras is going to go. I don't know. It could go above Leo. I mean, we're just gonna leave it how it is, but Leo gets countered on Kamacuras super hard. So, not a good thing for him. But Kamacuras as a whole, you know what they do. Just 3 shields. right? Just 3 meat shields for your team. Always nice to have. It's never a bad situation to have Kamacuras, unless their Biollante is right in your face. Kama Swarm. Put Kama Swarm bottom C tier. It's Kama Swarm, man. I gotta talk about it. It's more Kamacuras, 3 more cost, way less useful. Don't use it. G21. G21 back in B tier. Similar to Kong, you can't get any more pieces, so as time goes on, it gets weaker and weaker. G21 is still solid though, as far as being able to take out leaders. He's always going to be able to do that. The question is with G21 is how easy is it going to be to get him there? And it's not really that easy. Not that easy at all. So right back in B tier for you, G21. Sonde is going to go behind G89. Sonde, I've talked about it several times. Always say the same thing. Whatever you slow with Sonde, you got to kill it. If you don't do that, it's going to hurt you. Energy base back in A tier. Extra energy is awesome. Gotta love it. It can be countered very easily by Kiryu, Mog, Train Bomb. But you can revert those counters with like Anguirus, Kamacuras on Kiryu and Mog. Train Bomb, the for sure counter that's going to take it out every time. Dorats. Just put Dorats in C tier. You guys aren't using them. Use them. You guys aren't using them. Use them. If they're that good, use them, man. Only Comics is doing it. And it's not that impressive. It's not that impressive. I need more people doing it, showing off how good it can be. Till then, it's just got to be in C tier. It has the levels. It's been enough time. It's just not happening. It is not happening with Dorats. Maybe a 2 cost for them, but I don't think they're that bad. Like I said, it's hard for cheap units to be totally bad. Dimension Tide is going back into A tier. I was wrong on Dimension Tide. Psychic Chorus does not ruin Dimension Tide's life as much as I thought. You really want to be using Dimension Tide for taking out larvas and taking out Super X. That's its job. That's what you're doing with it. Super X, or Dimension Tide has lost some of its value to Psychic Chorus still, as far as last hitting the leader and doing like residual damage on things. Psychic Chorus is going to out heal it, but if you need to quickly take out things and move things around like pre-evos or Super X, it's going to get the job done very nicely. And Dimension Tide is also a skill-based unit. You can place it wherever you want. It's really up to you how good that thing's going to be. Destoroyah Larva back in D tier. Pretty trash. Destoroyah Larva. Pretty trash indeed. Talked about you a lot. Same thing as Kama's form. They just get cleared out by AoE almost instantly. Really no point into running them. Desghidorah, I'm going to put in B tier. Now, when you look at this and you see Desghidorah behind Minilla, you might think I'm an idiot. That might be what your initial thought is. But you have to go back to, see, now that might be on you. Listen up. Going back to, it's all based on ranked play and what levels most people have these things at. So that's a level 30 Minilla compared to like maybe a level 8 Desghidorah. And it's a lot easier to run Minilla in a team with other solid S tier units than it is Desghidorah, which is why Minilla is higher and easier to use. Desghidorah overall is a way better unit than Minilla, obviously. It's just harder to run, it's underleveled, but it's still a great piece. Pretty much if it's a newer 4-star that's not in the shop and it's in B tier, it's promising. It's got some nice things to it, and it's probably going to be very solid within a couple months once people get more pieces. Desghidorah is awesome. If you want to use your GMATs, go for it. Keep buying them from the event store. Do not skip that one bit. dude is way worth it. Next is Psychic Chorus, back in the top of S tier. It heals everything in the game, massive amounts. If the other player is not using it, they're at a huge disadvantage. It's definitely leaning towards broken. Devs, if you are listening, to fix Psychic Chorus, you make it only buff or only heal ground units touching the ground. It would help the meta so much. Moving on. Stealth Bomber, back into D tier. Stealth Bomber's trash. Stealth Bomber is dog crap. The fact it's flying might think it's better than Showa Gigan, but honestly I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Pretty useless. Pretty useless. Moving on, we're gonna go back to S tier and drop in Battra finally. Battra's just insane. The evolution's pretty easy. Battra's quick, hits super hard, buffs multiple things. Just a staple in Godzilla Battle Line for several months now. Fire Rodan is next. And we're going to put Fire Rodan right here because Fire Rodan can be leveled pretty decently. And where do I want to put Fire Rodan? I'll leave him there. Fire Rodan, you need to, if you're going to use Fire Rodan, you need to get good at using the pre-evolution. The pre-evolution is not like other pre-evolutions. You don't want to hide it in the corner and hope it evolves. It's just not going to happen. You need to be using that pre-evolution as a fighter. Have it speed AoE speed boost your whole team. Have it fly in, do damage, Psychic Chorus it. It's going to do okay. It's a 4-cost Rodan with a speed boost, 2,000 health, 400 damage. It's really not bad. And then if you get it involved, it turns into an even better unit. So Fire Rodan isn't the worst thing in the world. It is hard to use, extremely hard, but you can have some fun with it. Anguirus. Going into top of A, Anguirus is there, ladies and gentlemen. He's kicking ass. Dude's tanky. He's able to soak up pretty much everything in S tier and A tier. And he's just really solid. The only thing is Anguirus doesn't really offer anything offensively. The only thing he does offensively is soak damage. So you are losing DPS output when you're running Anguirus, but you're hoping that's a nice trade-off for killing their units quicker as they're attacking your 4,000 health Anguirus. So very solid. Anguirus is something you're going to need to dump a lot of levels in to get him tanky. So he's not going to be something you're just going to whimsily throw in and he's going to kick ass. You do need to invest in him. Moving on, Biollante, S tier. Rounding it out, same S tiers 3 months in a row, I think. Jesus Lord, help us, help us, help us. Biollante is insane, huge AoE, huge damage buff in the water. Don't really need to say more, it dominates the ground. Attack Helicopter going into D tier, absolute trash, garbage, piss, poop, it's bad. Don't ever use it. Ultima going back into A tier. Now, here's the argument, alright? So I know a lot of you players, because a lot of you are lower leveled than I am. Well, you have to be. It doesn't even make sense, since I'm top 100 every season. But Ultima is better than Spacegodzilla as you're playing. From levels 1 to 10, Ultima is way better, solid carry option. Spacegodzilla, it's laughable, right? It's laughable to think that Spacegodzilla is going to carry harder than Ultima is at level 5. No way. But as you progress, as you get higher and past level 10, Ultima starts to fall off, and Spacegodzilla starts to rise up. And that's just how it happens. If you don't believe me that Ultima, if you think Ultima is this godsend unit, you really need to message other top players and ask them, Like, people in the top 100, just ask them. How many times do you use Ultima? How many times do you lose against Ultima? They're not going to say, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, I don't really run Ultima at all. My Ultima is level 20, and I don't run it. Mine's not. Mine's level 11. But I mean, if they were to say it. There's people with level 20 Ultimas. They just don't run it. They just don't run it. So when you're talking about the highest level of play, Ultima is weaker than Spacegodzilla, in my opinion. But they're close, right? They're always next to each other, so it's not like a huge thing. But for players that have like a level 5 to 10 Ultima Spacegodzilla, Ultima's a better option. He's going to do a lot more damage early on. Spacegodzilla needs the extra health from the levels to kind of function as a fighter. And that's my rundown. So all you salty Ultima fans, he's still really good. He just falls off as you play longer and longer. Kiryu going into what do I put Kiryu? I guess I gotta put him there. Kiryu's still a little low leveled. I just don't see him. And same thing with Mog. I think you guys just suck. I don't know, man. If you guys have a nice Kiryu, use it. Where are these guys? Kiryu is a super solid piece. If I had mine at level 10, I'd be dominating. I'd be running around everywhere just dropping Kiryu on their souls. But Kiryu's great. You could use him anytime. If he's on par with your other units ever, then use him, because he's a great character. Also a good leader. Burning Godzilla is going to go into B tier, bottom of B. I want to say, the buffs did help, but I can't put him higher than G21, because even right now he's pretty much a lower level than most G21s are for the high players. Godzilla Earth, there's no way stacking up with him, like, stat-wise. Jaguar probably doubles him in levels for most people, so it's hard to compete with Jaguar. Desghidorah, probably around the same, but Desghidorah is probably a little better. And you see where I'm going with it. Burning Godzilla kind of just needs more time. The buffs are nice. If you do have him at level 5, maybe you're lower King of the Monsters, Grand Champion, he could carry, and it's worth trying him out. You're going to want to run Dimension Tide and maybe even Spacegodzilla. Combo those two together. But at the same time, Spacegodzilla isn't that good at the lower ranks, so maybe you're going to have success with other options. But Burning Godzilla did get the nice buffs, got a nice little HP growth. I don't think it's anything massive. He still has some issues, but I would for sure try him out, see how you like it. Your opinion is what matters, right? My opinion is just to help you reach your opinion. I'm not trying to brainwash you guys into believing exactly what I think. Just trying to help you reach your final opinion. You know what I'm saying? Alrighty. And last thing in the tier list, going to have Hedorah, who we'll put right behind Minilla. Hedorah is just a super basic AoE character. It needs a little bit of help. I feel like it's struggling statistically. Just a little bit. It just doesn't perform well enough. And that acid passive damage we talked about a little while ago that got buffed, yeah, that thing is horrible. Please triple that. Please. It does nothing. Please. But I think that is the last thing on our tier list. It is. This is our final tier list of Season 11. Let me know what you think. Would you move anything up or down? Leave a like, subscribe. Or if you hate my list and hate me, just punch me in the face. Whenever you see me in the street, just go punch me right in the face, man. Just a big old fat one, dude, right in my chin. But with that said, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck this season. Have a good rest of your day.